You know that thing you do when you're trying to figure something out and you start talking yourself through it out loud? Yeah, that habit. The one that makes us feel kind of silly if someone walks in. Well, what if I told you that little quirk isn't weird at all? In fact, it might just be one of the biggest signs of a seriously intelligent mind. So let's dive into why that is.
Oh, we've all been there, right? You're deep in your own world, working through a problem, muttering away, and then you look up, and someone's just staring at you. That sudden, hot flash of embarrassment, it's totally universal. But here's the thing. What if you've got it completely backward?
Okay, let's break it down. We're talking about that voice in your head. What's really going on when it decides to, come out and say hello? Is it just some random, harmless habit? Or could it actually be a peek under the hood at how your brain is wired?
Right off the bat, let's get one thing straight. This directly challenges a huge social stigma we all kind of grew up with. The most important thing to get is that talking to yourself is not a sign of instability. The research is super clear on this. If you talk to yourself, you are not crazy. Actually, it could mean you're the exact opposite.
Yeah, for so long, the story has been that talking to yourself is, well, a red flag, right? Something's a little off. But is it really just some weird habit that we should all be trying to stuff down and hide? Let's pull apart the myth from what's really going on.
Okay, this lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the myth. It's a sign of chaos, it's weird, you should be embarrassed. But then you look at the reality, backed by science. It's actually a cognitive tool, a sign of an organized mind, not a chaotic one. And it's definitely something we should try to understand, not just shut down.
All right, so let's run with that reality. It's time we started to reframe this whole thing. Think of it this way. Your self-talk isn't a bug in your mental operating system. It's a powerful, built-in feature.
So really think about this. What if it isn't just mindless muttering? What if it's actually a very deliberate, high-level cognitive process? There's a name for this, by the way. It's called active observation. And it's basically a conscious way of grabbing your own thoughts and examining them to get some real clarity. And this connects to a really cool concept called cognitive reflection. All that means is the ability to hit the pause button, to question your gut reaction, and to think a little deeper. And when you talk to yourself, you're basically forcing yourself to do just that. You're taking the thoughts out of your head and putting them out there so you can look at them objectively. It's kind of like writing a problem out on a whiteboard to solve it. Okay, so we've established it's a super useful cognitive tool. But the connection here goes even deeper than that. There's a really fascinating link between this very habit and the personality traits of some of the most intelligent people out there. It turns out, studies have found this really strong link between self-talk and a specific personality trait that you see again and again in people with high IQs. So it's more than just a thinking trick. It's like a behavioral signature for a certain type of mind. And that trait, it's called openness to experience. Now, this is way more than just being willing to try new restaurants or travel somewhere new. We're talking about a deep, intellectual curiosity, a crazy vivid imagination. It's that desire to just play with abstract ideas. It's the mind that is always asking, what if? So the people who are high in this trait, they are just wired to be curious. Their imaginations are always running, and they love diving into those what-if rabbit holes. I mean, that's the very foundation of innovation, right? And talking to yourself? Well, that's often just the soundtrack to this whole internal exploration. It's how these kinds of minds actually process that never-ending flow of ideas.
All right, so if it's not a glitch, and we know it's tied to a key trait of really smart people, the big question is, so what? How do we actually use this? How do we go from it just being something that happens to intentionally using its power?
Here's the best way to think about it. That voice? It's your own personal brainstorming partner. It's your internal debate club. It's your problem-solving sidekick all rolled into one. It is a seriously powerful tool that you've already got in your mental toolbox, just waiting for you to pick it up and use it. So here's a simple, practical way to do that. Just 3 steps. First, just acknowledge it. Seriously. The next time you catch yourself doing it, don't cringe. Just notice it. No judgment. Second, give it a new name. Reframe it. You're not just talking to yourself. You're engaging in active observation. And finally, this is the most important part, use it on purpose. The next time you're really stuck on a problem, literally try to talk yourself through it, out loud. I bet you'll be amazed at the clarity you find. So from now on, when you find yourself in a conversation with, well, yourself, don't shut it down. Lean in. Actually listen to what you're saying. Because what you're hearing isn't a sign of craziness. Nope, It's the sound of your own intelligence kicking into high gear. The only real question left is, what is your inner genius going to tell you next?